Hi BookTube, it's Missy, and I'm here today to give you guys my weekly wrap-ups for week 35 and 36. I'm a little late. It is Thursday. The fan's going, so that might be kind of noisy in the background. It's a million degrees, yada yada, same. I'm sweating my ass off. Okay, let's just breathe. Let's just breathe. I don't know. Okay, so for the last 2 weeks, I've completed 4 books. I'm going to share them with you now. The first one being from my Kindle. I will hold up the picture. I don't even have to hold this. The picture will be up here. Okay, so this book, The Suffering, I got from NetGalley for free. It was an e-arc when they gave it to me. And yeah, so this book was different. The first book is The Girl in the Well. Now, I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. Rin Chopeko is a great writer when it comes to the creepy, surroundings and the awesome, Japanese influence creepiness. I mean, if you guys have seen The Ring, you'll know what I'm talking about with the and the long hair and the dead eyes. I love all of that. It was so good, and I gave the first book 5 stars. But this book, The Suffering, I think I gave 3.5 or 4 stars. I can't remember. I will leave my Goodreads review down below. Anyways, so this book is actually in Tark's point of view, whereas the first book was in Okaiku's point of view, which was the ghost girl. In this book, it was in Tark's point of view, and I hated that fact because Tark's a boy, and not that boys are boring, but I didn't care about his school life. I just wanted him to get to the hunting of the ghosts, get to the point of the scary part, because that's all I care about. I want to read the scary part. Now, if you don't remember what the first book was about, Okaiku is a ghost who was murdered and thrown into a well, and now all she does as a daytime job is kill killers who kill children. Does that make sense? So murderers of children. She revenges these children by killing them and setting the souls free of the children up to heaven or an afterlife or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I absolutely love that part. And then with Suffering, it was all in Tark's point of view, so the first 25% is really boring, because again, school drama, don't care. And then Tark and his cousin Callie go back to Japan, which they do every year, and that's when the fun begins, because that's when the ghosts, creep up, and all this scariness, and there's sacrifices. It was great. I loved 75%, the other part of the book. So if you like creepy, scary, Japanese-esque movies or books, definitely check out The Girl in the Well and then read The Suffering, because they were well worth it. Just know that Tark's a bit of a whiner at the beginning of The Suffering. And then you'll be fine, because the rest was awesome with the ghosts and all the creepiness. Let's get on to the next book. So the next book that I read was Playlist for the Dead by Michelle. Yeah, that word. This is a dark contemporary about a suicide and a playlist and then a best friend. I was kind of disappointed in this book. I gave it 3 stars. I think this is my first suicide book that I've read, and I was just expecting a lot more. I don't know what else I was expecting. I was expecting the book to, talk about the dead person's friends and family and, their feelings about him killing himself, but that's kind of not what happened. So, the main character, his best friend dies. His best friend is named Hayden. So Sam is the main character. Hayden kills himself. Sam says it's, his fault. And then Hayden leaves him a playlist of all these 27 songs for him to, sift through to figure out why he killed himself. Some of these songs I already know and love. Some songs I didn't like at all. Some of them I added to my song lists on, YouTube. I really liked them. But overall, none of the songs made any sense on the reasons why Hayden killed himself. When Sam is piecing together kind of like clues onto the last night that Hayden was alive, like through friends and like his sibling and just, people that he didn't even know Hayden knew. He pieces together like Hayden's last night, and it takes the entire book to piece this all together. And at the end, I felt just totally dissatisfied. Like, I don't feel like Sam really got a clue onto why Hayden killed himself. And in my Goodreads review, I kind of ranted about the fact that I know people do it. I know kids do it and adults do it. But I swear it's so selfish, because then you have to think about everybody you've left behind that are going to be sad and hurt and, all of these feelings that a loved one feels when, someone passes. Killing yourself is kind of like, I don't know, like a shortcut. Like, everybody has to suffer. That's part of growing up. Like, yeah, things suck, people are mean, but you get over it. And if you don't get over it, move away or, learn to cope. Like, people have to learn to cope, like, with their anger, and some people have to learn to cope with depression through medication or meditation or religion or whatever. But people who kill themselves because, they're just not feeling that nobody loves them, like, it's just so sad to me. Like, there's so many things out there that you can, groups and numbers and people that you can talk to get out of this situation. And I just felt bad for Hayden because, he was misunderstood, and also his family didn't hate him, even though he thought that they did. And that's just, I don't know, it's just so sad. And then Sam lost his best friend, but he wasn't really a good friend in the end, if that makes sense. Like, he didn't even know anything about Hayden. He just kind of went along with, it's like when you get stuck in a rut. Like, you have a best friend or you're in a relationship and it's the same every single day, and then so you just kind of go with the motions, but it's so routine that you take it for granted and you don't even really, like, think about what's going on. And that's how it was with, like, Sam and Hayden. Like, they've been best friends forever, and so he took him for granted. And then when he killed himself, Sam was in shock. He was like, well, I don't understand. Hayden didn't show any signs, but obviously he was so routine with the friendship that those kinds of things were missed because he wasn't looking for it. I don't know. So I gave it 3 stars. There wasn't enough feeling for me, and I don't like contemporaries, but I did. I wanted to feel that Sam and the friends and his parents and siblings and all that stuff, I wanted them to feel for Hayden, and I don't feel like any of that happened. So that was long. I'm sorry. I don't know. I don't even know if I should recommend this. If you want to read it, read it, obviously. But it was just okay. The next book that I read was Armada by Ernest Cline, and this is his second book. I did read and enjoy the first book, which was Ready Player One. Everybody and their mama has read Ready Player One and enjoyed it to some extent. If you like video games and 80s trivia and 80s movies and 80s music and 80s TV shows, anything 80s, then you would have loved Ready Player One. In this one, people got the impression that this was like Ready Player One's little brother, which it's not. I mean, Ernest Cline maybe was born in the 80s. I don't remember when he was born. Maybe he was in the 70s and he just, sorry, motorcycle. You write what you know, and I've already discussed this. You write what you know. Ernest Cline knows a lot of 80s trivia, so there's going to be a lot of 80s trivia in this book. But this is a full-on sci-fi novel. It's not like a sci-fi fantasy. It's full-on sci-fi contemporary. So we have the main character, which is, I listened to this on audio, so I don't have the names visually in my brain. So this was Zach Lightman. The main character is Zach Lightman. He is 17/18 because he turns 18 in the book. He is in high school, senior. One day he is in English or something class, and he's daydreaming, and he looks out the window and he sees a spaceship, kind of like in this, what this looks like, kind of like a triangle. He sees a spaceship and he thinks he's hallucinating, then he thinks he's crazy, then he thinks, oh my gosh, my dad was crazy and now I'm crazy, and it's, you know, hereditary and blah, 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 blah. He goes home and he goes through all of his old dad's stuff, and his dad died at 19. His dad was an 80s kid, born in 1980. His dad kept, or the mom kept all of the dad's old stuff, so all of his videos and games and music, and I mean the mom had everything from the father, and I'm sure she collected stuff from his parents as well, and it was all in the attic. So Zach was able to dig through all this stuff throughout the years, trying to piece together his father's life. So that's why Zach knows all this 80s trivia, because people have been saying that on Goodreads, like, how would he know about 80s if he was, you know, this is 2018. His dad knew it. His dad kept all of his stuff. Now Zach knows it all. And when your parent dies, when you're a baby and you're interested in your parent, you tend to go through their things, and sometimes you like what they like. I like musicals because my dad and my grandma like musicals. I like 80s music because my dad blasted 80s music all the time. Although I was born 81, it doesn't matter. Even the 70s music and the 60s music, whatever you listen to a lot, you're going to like. Rants. Anyways, I like this book because of what it was. Not because Ernest Cline wrote it. Okay, let's pretend Ernest Cline didn't write this book. I like this book as it was. It was a little cheesy. That's why I gave it a 4 instead of a 5. The ending was a little cheesy. The beginning, a little cheesy. But overall, I liked the action. I liked everything that had to do with Zach and his dad. Every time Zach talked about his dad, I got choked up. It's the whole mommy with only boys kinds of thing. If it was a daughter, maybe I wouldn't have gotten choked up. But because I only have boys, every time I read a book about a son and his parents, I get, choked up. So it's like a family story with aliens and fighting and, the end of the world's coming and all this stuff. And there's excitement and space fighting and Europa and Jupiter and, again, aliens, like all the dark side of the moon. All this cool science-y stuff, and I loved it. And I read all, like, not all, but most of the comments for Armada, and one guy left a comment for this book. I don't know what his name is. He gave it 1 star, but he said, this is the Stephenie Meyer of sci-fi, which I was like, burn. Because everybody talks so much smack about Stephenie Meyer. It's like, please, people, you may not like Twilight, but it rocked way back when it came out 10 years ago. Everybody liked Twilight. So being compared to Twilight shouldn't be a bad thing, a negative. That means that it's easy to read, fun and engaging, and a little cheesy. Who cares? It was great. I'm sorry. These are just too long. It's just too long, all these reviews. And the very last book, which I will leave a picture here, was the Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas graphic novel that I borrowed from NetGalley. I say borrowed because you download graphic novels to the, like Adobe Reader on your computer, and then after the allotted time, you can no longer read it because NetGalley takes it away. So yeah, it's kind of like borrowing from your library. So all graphic novels are like that. If you get it from NetGalley, it's a limited time only. I read it. I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved the movie. And the graphic novel was written and illustrated just like the movie. And if you've seen Cool World starring Brad Pitt, from a long time ago. I own the movie. I should have brought it with me, but maybe I could show you a picture here. The illustrations kind of reminded me of that. It was like like very cartoony, but then very not, very like traditional superheroes kind of drawings, and it just was so cool. I loved it. All the anger that the main character goes through. What's his name? I always forget because it changes. No, that's not it. I don't know. I don't know what his name is. It's the druggy guy and his lawyer. I can't think of what his name is. Anyways, those are the 4 books that I read. Definitely check out the graphic novel when it comes out. It's super fast to read. It's like 176 pages. So much fun. I can't wait to get the original book one day because I'm probably going to love that one too. Armada was amazing. I really didn't like Playlist for the Dead, and The Suffering wasn't as good as the first one. That is my wrap-up. I want to share with you 2 other things before I go. I did share with you guys the Library of Souls yesterday, but I forgot to show you Under the Dust Jacket because look at that loveliness. It is all the signatures of the characters in the book, which I just absolutely love. So there's Bronan, Bruntley, which is the strong girl, and then there's Claire and Olive. I think Olive's the girl that can float because she's so light, right? And this is the dog from the second book. So yeah, I can't wait to get to this one. And then lastly, I'm just going to share with you guys what I'm currently reading, which is Insanity by Susan Vaught. I'm still reading this. I'm almost done with Rules of Attraction. That one is like at 83%, 89%, something like that. I should be finishing that this weekend. And yes, so that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I may be here tomorrow with a Friday Reads. I'm not sure. If I don't see you before next week, have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you soon.